Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Hey, there we are. All right, we're back up and running, guys. We're back up and running. Let me get this out to everybody right now, and then we'll start in with the gold market. Let me go over to the YouTube, and let's get that over here. Bring up the chat, and I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this with the group over here. Let's go over here. Bear with me a second, guys, and I will get with the program, and we're going to go over the gold market, okay? And as you can see, we are coming into, we're running right into that supply, aren't we? We're running right into that supply zone there. Where is everything? Bear with me, guys, 1 second here. Oh, come on. I hate this. Facebook is really not user friendly, man, when it comes to finding all your stuff. It is really not user friendly. Good Lord. Should have did this before. All right. Let's see. There we go. Post that. All right. Hey, good morning, Hitch. Good to see you, buddy. I am just posting here. Let's see. Is it going to work? These. So we got banned from YouTube yesterday. Oh, not YouTube. We got banned from TradingView yesterday because I posted the link in the chat. Very strange. Very strange. Crazy. That was just crazy. Okay, so we are live now. I got all the chats open. Wow, look at the TrendCloud supply and demand zone filter. Look at the TrendCloud supply and demand zone filter, guys. Do you think we know which direction the market is in, the overall market direction? I mean, look at that. My whole day is planned out. Just looking at that, I already know where market sentiment is. All of the contracts that are in my watch list, I placed inside of the supply and demand zone scanner. And the scanner lets me know the contracts that are going to have the strongest, in this case, demand zones, right? According to our process. And it does not draw out the supply and demand zones. I just want to make that clear. This is letting me know what contracts are going to I should be focused on. Okay, but then like we're on gold here, you can see gold is right there, and so when we go to gold, we can see we're cycling up. Momentum is up on both time frames. We've crossed over. We've got that TrendCloud crossover right here on the high time frame. This is all color coded, the charts, so that we can clearly see what's going on. And that is the whole purpose of TrendCloud, okay, is to give you a deeper vision into the charts so that you're able to apply your strategy more effectively. So if you like trading supply and demand zones and you only trade supply and demand zones, then you really need to know what direction the market is going in. Hands down, like it's super important. So there are 6 key factors that you want a trading system to focus on and calculate. You want a trading system to have these 6 components to making a decision. Number 1 is trend, right? Number 2 is momentum. Number 3 is cycles or timing. And what I mean is, are you in an impulse phase or a corrective phase? And you need a timing indicator to let you know that. The 4th one is multiple time frames, right? We use 3 time frames on our charts. So that's multiple time frame analysis. The 5th component is support and resistance, right? Support and resistance like moving averages, Fibonacci lines, any type of reversion to the mean technique. Okay, so that's very different from the 6th component, which is supply and demand, or levels of imbalance between buyers and sellers. And those are the 6 key components to a mapping system. And that's what TrendCloud is. It's a mapping system of price action. It's a price action mapping system that's going to color code your charts for you and help you understand the direction of all 6 of these components, right? So the scanner, what we're doing here is we're saying, and if you double click onto this, here are all of your contracts. We're saying, and this is, I made everything customizable. So if you like using the longer term timeframes or the shorter term timeframes, you can customize this for everything that you do. Okay, so I'm using the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart, and that's represented here. So 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart. When trend and momentum are lined up together, that's how this thing produces the contract, okay? So that might happen at different points in time. AMS and JSE, okay? We'll take a look at that hitch for sure. So it's super helpful. Would you rather have, a system that color coordinates your charts for you, lets you know what's going on first, as soon as you turn on your trade station, as soon as you turn on you sit down at your trading desk and you start looking at the screen, boom, I want to know right away general market direction, and there you go, right there. Now you can take this and you can relate it to stocks, you can relate it to Forex, anything you want. Because in the futures market, if you're trading stocks, you look at the futures market first to find out, okay, where exactly is the S&P right now? Is it up or down? If the S&P is up, well, then you want to take longs. You want to go long on your stock trades. You're not going to want to short anything, right? And especially with stocks, I personally, I don't short stocks. I invest in stocks. And that's where TrendCloud comes in and lets me know exactly the right time to start accumulating a stock of my choice. All right. And that's what we've got here on the charts. And that's what we go over in the live room here. We want to go over stocks and futures contracts and Forex. Hitch has got a couple of stocks he wants to look at. He likes to accumulate stocks as well. And there's a process to that. And so, you really want to be able to have all of those components or elements lined up before you apply a strategy. So if I know the direction of my trend, and here you can see TrendCloud is up on that middle time frame. And if you look over here, we've broken through to the upside. We've got the crossover and the candles have just turned green. So we now can say, okay, high time frame trend is up. Middle time frame trend is up, and oh, look at this, low time frame trend is up as well. So we're up on all three time frames, and momentum is up on the high time frame and that middle time frame as well. All right, so we go over all of that in the course, and it's a really in-depth course, guys. It took me an entire year to put the whole thing together, and it is truly a masterclass in price action and applying TrendCloud with some specific strategies, supply and demand zone strategies, and the open range breakout strategies. And I also have some bonus strategies in there as well for you, like the 2618 trade, which is where we use Fibonacci lines to figure out where to enter a trade on a double top and a double bottom. These are trend reversal techniques. Okay, so you get supply and demand zone training, you get a strategy on how to use the opening range breakout, specifically the retest of the opening range, and also how to handle trend reversals. So all of that is in the masterclass that comes with the TrendCloud system. Okay, so that's what we got here. In the gold market now, we've got a breakout taking place to the upside. We've got all these TrendCloud signals here. And as you can see, very accurate, right? Since yesterday, this is yesterday, Wednesday, we've got all of these signals. And then finally, this last signal here is where we took off. But look at how this is leading. These signals here are leading the price action, okay? And there's very few indicators that can do that. All right, there's very few indicators do that, because what makes a signal a leading signal? It's got to have a momentum component. It's got to have a component of momentum. And what makes it really strong is when you can line up that momentum across multiple time frames. So when you have momentum on the high time frame and the middle time frame, especially, because those are your longer time frames, when you've got momentum going in the same direction across those two multiple time frames, you've got a very powerful signal. And as you can see here, this thing has gone flat. We started getting the signals, and then boom, there's the blast off. Okay, so very important to use, very important to know how to use those signals, right? Because we don't always take the signals. Remember, this is just a mathematical equation, right? This is a mathematical equation. In this particular case, what is the difference between this signal down here and this signal up here, right? Well, down here, we have asymmetrical leverage, right? And that's what Larry Hite talks about in his book all the time, right? If you haven't read The Rule, I highly suggest reading this book. It was excellent. They have it on audio as well on Amazon, okay? I have a link to it on my website if you want to go check that out as well. So, yeah, so he says asymmetrical leverage is what he looks for. And Larry Hite was a guy who ran he was the first American to build a $1 billion hedge fund. Okay, he had over $1 billion under management. And what he would look for is asymmetrical leverage, which is basically, if you went to Online Trading Academy, they call this part of their process is the curve. You know, they're looking at the curve and they're saying, okay, do I have at least a 5-to-1 target between my entry and that target, right? So when you set up your trade and you set up your entry and your stop loss, okay, where is that target? Do I have a target that's at least 5-to-1? And when you look at this situation here, well, here we've got a bunch of we have consolidation here, right? You can see it on the middle time frame as well. consolidation going sideways. And then we've got all these trend cloud signals. We love that. But look where we are. What is this red box that I have up here? Take a look at your highest time frame. All right. Let me turn off trend cloud here. Look at your highest time frame. This is the curve or the market edge. Okay. That's what the curve is. It's a market edge. And the way I drew it was I pretty much drew this thing using the top of the wicks of the highest candles. Okay, here's the actual pivot candle right here. And I'll just drag this across a little bit so you can see. There is your pivot candle. So I pretty much took the wicks of these candles so that you could see this is where all the sellers came in, right? All the sellers came in. This is an imbalance between buyers and sellers, right? Sellers came in here, pushed the market down. Okay, push the market all the way down. Look at this up here. A lot of sellers came in up here, right? So you can actually draw this. I mean, this is ridiculously long, and that's just crazy. So most likely, if we break through, are we going to break through all this as well? Probably not, right? The first time we come back and hit this, most likely, we're going to have some sort of reaction. Is it going to be a short reaction and then to the upside? Or is it going to be a longer reaction? Maybe it wants to come back down here and sort of do something like this for a while. We've seen that happen, right? Before it makes a move and breaks through all of that. Right? So we might end up going into some kind of sideways movement here. So TrendCloud is going to help you understand all of that and help you see it. The purpose of TrendCloud is to put an objective system on your charts so that you can map all of this stuff out and actually make sense of what's going on. If you can make sense of this and you can understand price action movement and you can understand trend across multiple time frames and then throw in momentum and then cycles and then support and resistance and supply and demand, you're piling stuff on top of each other. You've got to keep it organized. TrendCloud is going to allow you to organize anything that you want to throw in there. The other day, I had a member, a new person who entered the live room, and he said, "Hey, you know what I like to do? I like to add volume to my charts." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. What do you use?" And he recommended the VR VP, this little thing here. It's like a little heat map, right? And it kind of shows you where the pullbacks, are most likely to take place. And you can see it's just an added bonus, right? We never just look at one indicator, but look at how it's showing me on my 1 hour chart. And I suggest using it on the 1 hour and not your lowest time frame. Use it on the 1 hour. And look, it's pretty much pointing. This is like a finger pointing to the demand zone here, right? And what do we have? Well, we've got this right here. And what was that? That was, where all of the signals took place. Let me just make that green so that we don't confuse anybody. Okay, so we've got all these TrendCloud signals acting as a precursor to that, to that move up. So, when you come across other traders and you listen to what they do, you can add stuff like that to your process, right? And it's mostly for just, adding another element. You don't need 5 different momentum indicators. You don't need 2 or 3 different trend indicators, or or volume indicator. You just need one. You just need one. And when you look at everything together as a whole, you're going to have a very powerful system. So I put that together for you guys already. It's called TrendCloud. It's done for you already. All the programming is finished. The masterclass is done. If you follow this program, you will make money. Okay. It is consistent with the data. Okay. So, and what I've discovered, and I'll send you the data along with the TrendCloud system. It comes with the digital trading journal that you can document everything with. And what I found was you've got, I would say, 7 out of 10 times, okay, 7 out of 10 times when you have momentum and trend lined up together, when your TrendCloud system is lined up, 7 out of 10 times, it will hit that 2-to-1 target. So, and I was talking with somebody about this in online trading. They were an online trading academy student, and I was talking with them about it in what they call an XLT, an extended learning track. And I was saying, if you only have one contract, like let's say you can only afford to have one contract, you've got to take that 2-to-1 because 7 out of 10 times it's going to hit the 2-to-1, especially if you have trend and momentum, and your TrendCloud lined up with it. And that's why I built this. I needed solid data in order to be confident to trade consistently and make consistent profits. That's what it's all about. We study with people every year, right? Like I went to Online Trading Academy, and then every year I would study with a new mentor and I would read all the books, right? I read all the books, and you take your notes and you build out your trading system. And that's what you have to do. And so when you do that, if you let yourself do that, you don't get in the way of yourself and just try a whole bunch of stuff and never commit to anything. You've really got to commit to learning the process and sticking with it. Now, how do you do that? Well, first you have to go through your information gathering stage, right? You've got to learn from other mentors that you really enjoy working with. And then you have to start putting this together yourself. And that's what I really like to dive into. Everyone who becomes a TrendCloud member, in the course, I take you through that process, and you end up developing your own system inside of the TrendCloud membership. And I love that. I love doing that for people. So what we've got here on our chart is a working system. Okay, so this is already making money. And what you can do is you can customize it for the niche market that you want to be in. You want to be in Forex? Great. You can customize this to be in Forex. You want to only trade Bitcoin? Great. Put TrendCloud on your chart and customize it for Bitcoin. And I go through how to go through that process in the course. So, so what we're looking at, right now is we're looking at TrendCloud producing a bunch of signals to the upside here. We know market sentiment is to the upside. And we've got this breakout taking place. It's trying to break out, right? Gold is trying to break out, but we are really high on the curve or very close to the market edge. And this is kind of like running into a brick wall because this is a resistance level, right? It's a resistance level, but it's also a level of imbalance, right? So levels of imbalance mean there are more, in this case, more sellers than buyers, and that's going to push the price down. How do we know when all the sellers have been taken out? Well, that's what moves the needle, right? And you will see this take place, right? That's what you'll see. It pulls back into the cloud like it did right here, pulled back into the cloud, came up and off. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, something like that. But for us to take a trade on gold right now, um, really wouldn't be in our best interest, right? Because we're running right into all of this resistance here. Okay, so even though it's on our scanner, it's on our scanner because TrendCloud is lined up. Momentum, trend, cycle, it's all lined up, and that's why it's on here. But we still have to be discretionary with our trades. Okay, so we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, great. Yeah, that looks good. We've got these signals, but we're running into a level of supply right now. It's probably not the best situation. What would be the best situation? Like, okay, Chris, if it's not, if that's not the best situation, then what is? I want to trade gold. I want to make money. Excellent. So do I. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for this to actually break through. Great. If we break through structure here, then you can start looking for the pullback. And maybe it's going to be this right here. Rally. Maybe this is going to turn into a rally base rally, right? Maybe these two candles here will be basing candles. It will pull back into that area and it'll make a move. And this is what we'll take a chance on. Okay, so that is what we're waiting for. But if I didn't have a system in place, a scanner, open range breakout tool, cycle indicator, momentum indicator, right? High time frame momentum filter, right? The reason why I'm calling it a filter is because this is my confirmation chart. Okay, so you can see a pullback take place on your low time frame. Are you using a method where you have a confirmation chart? Okay, that's why I call this a momentum filter. This is a modified MACD indicator, and I give you the parameters to this in the course. Okay, this is part of the TrendCloud system. And when I see that the momentum filter is in the same direction as my trade, great. Then you have a better chance of winning. So as you can see right now, it's flashing like green and red here because we're smashing into this resistance level and we're going to be pulling back probably. Where do you think this is going to pull back to? Well, we have it right on our chart here. And you say, well, okay, well, if momentum is pulling back on that high time frame, where is this going to pull back to before it takes off? Well, look at your middle time frame. Here's your trend cloud on your middle time frame, right? From here to here. Okay? So that is a possibility. If we look left, well, that's pretty much all this consolidation here. And we've got this right here, right? So we can focus in on this guy right here. All right. And this is really not a rally-based rally, right? This is actually, let's take a look and just make sure. Yeah, this is just a rally, and a rally. Okay, here's your basing candle here, right? Here's your basing candle. So we've got this and we've got this down here. And there's a lot of little levels of support, right? If we scroll back, yeah, these are like weekly and monthly levels of support inside of the demand zone. So do you have tools like this on your chart that are giving you clues just like a GPS device would, right? How do we know where to drive to? Unless you have it memorized, the roads and everything memorized, you need to have reference points, right? So these are your reference points here. And it's like, okay, can we stack some of these reference points on top of each other? Well, we've got a demand zone here and we've got some levels of support here. Well, that makes it even more powerful. Some people call that an odds enhancer. This is basically just stacking information on top of each other, but you must have a visual representation of that. I don't know about you, but I I'm not a computer, okay? I'm a human being. I need help with this stuff. I need visual. I need visuals, okay? So I make sure that I have all of the visuals on my chart that are necessary to read price action. Because if I don't, how am I going to apply my strategy? Like if I was just looking at the opening range breakout, well, okay, like let's just blank all this stuff out. Okay, let's take all this stuff out and just look at this. And if I'm just looking at one chart, okay, what do you do here? Well, it's kind of hard, right? You really need visuals. So it's like, okay, well, why don't we add let's put the opening range on there. Okay, well that's a lot right then and right there. That's a lot of information. These lines here are, let me show you, previous days open, previous days close, right? Just let it recalculate here. Here you go. Previous days high, previous week's close, previous week's low, okay? And then look at the stacking going on down here, right? So we've got a really nice level of demand here with with support, with these support levels. Which one? Well, you say, well, okay, well, which one is it going to be? Well, guys, that you will never know. You'll never know if it's just going to be, a pullback to the previous day's high and a takeoff, right? You're not going to know. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you must have risk management in place. So that's the other component of TrendCloud, where we always use less than 1% of your total current account value. So whatever your current account value is, you got to take 1% of that and make sure you don't go over that for your risk. Otherwise, you'll end up eating away at your profits. And we don't want to do that. We're about building up a small account. That's what we do here. We build up small accounts, and that is what TrendCloud is built for. It is specifically used to help people build small accounts. Okay, I don't know about you. When I first started out, I didn't have 60 grand to throw into an account. I think I might have started with $1,800. I had $1,800 to put into an account and build that up from there. All right, and I had to fail a whole bunch of time, to get it right. Like, oh, wow, okay, I failed. Why did I fail? Well, I didn't use proper risk management. I was risking 4% on each trade rather than 1% or a half a percent. Okay, so you will there is a direct correlation. There is a direct correlation between a trader's risk management style and how often they blow out an account. Okay, higher risk means they blow out the account more. Lower risk, they last longer before they blow out the account. All right, that's just how it is in the beginning, guys. Okay, you're going to mess up. Okay, so and you may not want to use a system. Hey, good morning, Krishnan. Good morning, my friend. you may not want to use a system. You may go more on your feelings or something. I don't know. I mean, I've heard some people use, astrology for some reason. I don't know, guys. I don't know. None of that ever made sense to me. I need mathematics. I need programming. I need a system that's going to be a visual representation of my charts, of price action on the charts, right? So, again, looking at one screen and not using multiple time frames is going to get you in trouble. All right. Multiple time frames with a visual representation of price, that is what's going to make you the most money, right? And this is a system that already works. It already works and it's done. Okay. So here we are. We're breaking out to the upside on gold here. Let's go back and draw in our curve. See, let me open this up here. Whoops. Okay, there's your pivot candle right there. Let's get our box and just box this out again. And we want to wait. And it looks like it's happening right now. Great. We love this, right? Here's a really nice visual representation of gold. And this is exactly what we said we wanted to happen. How did we know this? How did we know? How could I have known this was going to happen? Well, I was looking at the charts across multiple time frames and I was reading the price action because I have a system that's in place that does that for me. Okay? We need to make trading easier, not harder, right? So don't make it hard. Use a system that's going to allow you to see what's going on the charts. And here we go. So I said before, if we get this breakout to the upside, and there you go, here's a rally, base rally. Look what's forming here. Okay. Isn't that what we said we wanted to see? So it looks like we just like sort of that little tip out. There you go. Now we've officially broken out of here. Now we really want it to close, right? We really want this thing to close above like this candle. We've got another 9 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. We want this candle to close above structure here. Okay, so the buyers are coming in. Buyers are coming in. Momentum is up. Trend is up. Here's your TrendCloud crossover. And we also have the 100 simple hovering right underneath, almost cradling those candles. This is like, pushing up. This is energy that's pushing this even further up. Here's the 200. And those are two moving averages that we use on the highest time frame only. We don't want to get mixed up with a whole bunch of moving averages on every single time frame. I did that when I first started out, and I confused the heck out of myself. I'm like, well, it's hitting the 100 on the 15-minute, but it's really far away from the 100 simple moving average on the high time frame. Well, which one do I use? Moving averages are mass psychology, okay? Everyone's looking at it. So you want to use moving averages on your highest time frame only. Don't confuse yourself, all right? Put the 100 and the 200 simple moving average on your highest time frame, whatever time frame that is. In this case, it's the 4-hour because we're in the futures market. Okay, if you're trading stocks, then you probably want to use the daily. All right? So beautiful. Okay, we've got this breakout happening on the 15-minute chart. Let's go box out right here. Okay. And I love doing these double boxes like this because the darkest, the darkest part here, right? The darkest part here is going to be, and that's got to be green now. It's going to tell me, the strongest area. All right. So is it going to pull back and hit this and go up, or is it going to come back and hit this bottom one down here, this drop base rally here? We don't know. We don't know, guys. Okay, and you'll never know. So what do you do? Well, you've got to you may have to take a couple of shots at this, right? And I think I'm on the this is the full contract. So take a look at the full contract here. If this is the entry, look at how expensive this is. This one zone alone is $630 from entry to stop loss. Okay. So are you willing to take a $630 loss? You better have the account size to deal with that. Okay. So we like to assume here in the live room, middle, if you're just starting out, you probably have a $3,000 account. Anywhere from like $1,800, 3,000, maybe $5,000. That's the usual retail trader starting account size. Okay. And that's a good account size. But to trade the full contract, you'll wipe out a good chunk of change if you take the risk on a full contract like that. So what should we do? There's something called micros. Go to your micro gold, and you'll notice it's pretty much it's the same. Okay, it's the same chart, guys. So let's draw out the same thing on the micro, and let's draw it like this, right? And let's say we'll take from here to here, right? It pulls back. It's probably going to retest. It'll retest this zone here. What's that? $155. 5 contracts, right? So, the idea is, okay, well, we could reduce our risk. Let's just say what are, two contracts is only $62, right? So why don't we take $100 risk here, right? $93. And we can bring this like that. Okay. And now we can take a couple of shots at this thing, right? We can take a couple of shots at this. If it pulls back, gets in and takes off, great. We've got 3 contracts. If it pulls back and stops us out, then we need to take another trade, right? So we may have to take a couple of shots at this thing in order to make a win. So the question becomes, okay, well, should we do this? I mean, you could, but then look, just reduce your risk. Maybe you want to take it at the very end, or right here. Okay. In which case, what do we have to do? We can only have 2 contracts here. We've got to keep this number under $200. No ifs, ands, buts about it. This is what we have to do. We've got to keep this number under $200 because we're working a $20,000 account. And we are not allowed to risk more than 1%, right? $200. Oh man, that's good stuff. Okay, so there's the trade there. So what we're doing here in this strategy, okay, What we want to do in this strategy is we want to take the retest of the opening range breakout. And remember, guys, we're not just using one strategy on one time frame. It might look like that because that's what we're discussing right now. But for the past 43 minutes, okay, since 9 a.m., I've been having a discussion about the entire picture of what's going on here. Okay. So we've been looking at this since 9 a.m. and we've been having a discussion about multiple time frame analysis using a trading system like TrendCloud that encompasses 6 or 7 different elements, right? We added volume into the mix, right, with this little volume indicator that we found yesterday. Very cool stuff. It's an added feature, okay? Now, um, again, with TrendCloud, we're looking for everything to be lined up. All right, we want trend on all time frames to be in the same direction. We want momentum to be in the same direction on all the time frames. Then we want to look for areas of support and resistance. And what do we have? Well, we've got moving averages. We've got Fibonacci retracement levels, right? And we have on your TrendCloud opening range tool, we've got the previous day's high, the previous week's close. Okay, we've got all of that on here. Everything is in alignment with each other. And that is the TrendCloud process. Okay, and that's what we go over here in the live trading room. We go over the same process so that you get it in your head every day, same thing, rinse and repeat, right? If it works, great. Don't change it if it works, right? If something is working, keep it. All right? Don't fix it if it ain't broken, right? The old saying. So what happened here? We broke out of that consolidation. If you look left, let's draw a little line here. There you go. We broke through all of this consolidation on the high time frame. Beautiful. That is what we want to see. Structurally, that's what we want to see, right? We've got, let's see. This is we've got 14 minutes left for this candle to close above this line here. And we really want to see that. We can take a chance on this. We can take a chance on the retest here, but it's got to happen within 14 minutes, right? So you see how we're throwing that component into the mix? Because if this comes down, closes in here, we have now a new element, a new piece of information. Oh, well, it might go further down. Okay. Maybe this rips all the way back down to here. You'll never know. Okay. So you have to, with trading, you really have to get used to being uncertain. You have to get used to being uncertain about what's going to happen. The problem that a lot of engineers, programmers, data scientists, a lot of these guys, and I was an engineering recruiter, so I got to know that field very well and the personality types in that field. And if you think about it, if a structural engineer is building a bridge, right, the math has got to be correct. If the math is correct, the bridge falls down, right? Their whole world revolves around being precise. And unfortunately, when they get into trading, it's not a precise type of thing, right? We want to have a system in place that's as precise as possible, right? We want to have a system in place that encompasses trend and momentum and cycles, support and resistance, and all of that. We want to have something like that that's objective, and that's what we have here on TrendCloud. It's already built for you. All of that is already built for you. Okay. But the problem that a lot of these engineer types have is they're looking for precision, and they're looking for this thing to come down, hit this very line here, hit this line and then go up. And when that doesn't happen, they get really aggravated. Everybody gets aggravated when that happens, right? But you get really aggravated because you feel like, hey, I did my calculations. This is what's supposed to happen. And that's not how it works, right? That's why the risk management part of trading is so important, because that does happen. This could very well come down here, bounce for a little bit, and then move down to this zone. Okay, so that could happen. So what we'll do here is we're just going to take, see the body of these candles here? We're going to take an entry here, and let's see if we can squeak out two contracts here. I don't think we can. Yeah, we're not gonna quite make it, right? I really want to get in on this. We could put one contract right here and take the full length of this of the opening range. So we've got two contracts here. We can take that chance. Look, if it pulls back really deep, we'll get back in. Okay, if it breaks through this level here, then we know that it's going to pull back even deeper, and we need to wait. Okay, so that's the risk that we're going to take on gold today. That's the risk, right? So you have to be comfortable saying, okay, you know what? That's a risk I'm willing to take. And if you're not comfortable with the risk of $154, then you have to stay out. Why am I taking it up here? Well, because we've just broken through all this structure, and I want to get in on the retest of this. Well, but Chris, what if the retest is here? Yeah, it might be. It might be. The retest might be here. But the start of this demand zone is right here. Rally, base rally, right? And actually, it's this candle right here. That's the rally. Rally, base. I don't know if it's going to work, but my risk is definitely acceptable. Okay, so my risk is acceptable. This is a legitimate demand zone, and we're below the opening range breakout. We're not below structure, right? We're not below structure. So if I wanted to be below structure, I would have to do this. Okay? So on a small account, this is the thought process that you have to go through on a small account. You've got to work this stuff out. And if you're on a 1 minute chart, you're going to have to figure that out really quick. So do you see how, some people say, oh, well, when you start out in trading, you should only scalp. Well, you better be real good at reading price action if you're going to scalp, because you've got to be able to read this stuff quickly. I mean, like this. See, I've got a lot of time here. So, with one contract, if I get into this and it pulls back, to this level, I can jump in with another contract. Okay. I can jump in here with another contract and start, taking the levels. So you could actually, you could you could scale into a trade and you can scale out of a trade, right? And that's just it. So why don't we take another level right in the middle, right here? Buy one, and we can drag that stop loss down to there. Okay, so we can scale into this position as well. We don't even know if this is going to reach anywhere down here. Okay, but that is where we're looking at. We're looking at this rally base rally, and we're looking at this drop base rally. Okay, so why don't we take one in each section? Totally valid, right? Totally valid. So so that is the deal. That's the situation. Now, if you didn't have that on your chart, would you be able to figure that out? I certainly wouldn't. I need reference points. I need to be able to see these reference points on this chart. And you can see here is the 100 simple, and we're above that. So we're waiting for some pullback to take place inside of this candle, this high time frame candle. It's also going to be above our middle time frame trend cloud. So we're hoping that this is going to be a continuous trend, a strong continuous trend to the upside, and it really looks like we've got the momentum behind us. So will this pull back? Is this part of the zone as well? Yeah, maybe this just pulls back to here and misses everything. You'll never know. So I want you to see this firsthand to make you understand. To make you understand, if you don't have a visual representation of price and price action on your chart, if you don't have a visual representation of that, you're going to have it's going to be a guessing game. You're going to be guessing. You're going to be guessing at everything. And that's what we want to reduce. We want to replace guessing at what's going to happen with some kind of objective, back-tested strategy. All of this has been back-tested already. Okay? It's been back-tested. It's been optimized. And what I mean by optimized is we went through a whole bunch of moving averages for our trend cloud, and we found that the 50 simple is the best for futures. That's like our line in the sand between uptrend and downtrend. And then the 15 and the 34 exponential moving average, and you can see if you double click onto your trend cloud, 15 and 34 exponential make up the trend cloud. Okay, and it's all done for you. And I painted the candles green when you get the crossover of the trend cloud and that 50 simple. That's why you get the crossover here, and you can see it represented here. That becomes very powerful in your analysis, because now when you see a trend cloud crossover, you can say, oh, okay, well, now we've got ourselves an upward trend. Way of saying we have a downtrend. Okay. If you're just looking at a blank chart with nothing on it, then you really have to draw some very specific lines to show breaks of structure and to show your uptrend. A lot of people say, well, I don't like having any indicators on the chart. That's fine. But you better be really good at drawing those lines out manually if you want to see price action. And then maybe after 2 or 3 years, you can eyeball it. But if you're just starting out, you need a visual representation of this stuff. You can't expect to eyeball a trend across multiple time frames when you're just starting, right? Especially, I remember how I was. I wanted to trade real money as soon as possible. You know, I yeah, that was one of the mistakes that I made is I didn't stay in the simulator long enough. I made the mistake a couple of times, and then I was like, okay, I'm staying in the simulator, and that's what I did. I stayed in the simulator until I was profitable, and I'm like, oh, I'm profitable. All right, now let's do this. Okay, it's the best way to be. It's the best way to be, guys. Okay, it's the absolute best way to be. That and get yourself some green tea. No more. I love coffee, but I only like getting coffee if I go out to a really nice coffee shop. Like here in South Florida, there's like a lot of like really nice gourmet type of coffee shops. Cappuccino with coconut milk, all about it, right? But at home, no more coffee. It's too much. Nice green tea, you're good to go. All right. So we're getting this reversal candle here, and today I'm just focused on gold because I wanted to do like a real lesson today and a real sort of deep dive presentation on the TrendCloud system. Okay. So yeah, that's right. Anytime, Kristen. Anytime, man. You come visit South Florida. I've got a couple of places, man. There's a couple of really nice places over here, and they play live music and stuff. And trading is really stressful, guys, especially when you're first starting out. Once you get a system, like if you've got TrendCloud on your chart, that should reduce stress exponentially, right? That should reduce stress a lot because everything is written out for you. The only time you would have stress is if you over leverage yourself, right? So if you like with this trade, I'm not over leveraged in this trade. So if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. It's a scrape on the knee, right? It didn't wipe out 20% of my entire account. Like we just have a small scrape, right? And that happens, right? So that's that. So here it pulled back. It's forming another inside bar here. This is a really long upward candle here. Is it going to take off from here? It may. We may not even get a shot at this today, but we're following a process. And the day that it does work, that's where you make all the money, So I was talking to Krishnan the other day, a few days ago, and I was saying, if you've got like a metal detector, right, and you're walking along the beach with a metal detector, and you learned how to use the metal detector, and you've got all the equipment, right, and you've got your headphones on, and you're walking across. You're not going to find a Rolex every 6 feet, right? You're not going to find a Rolex every 6 feet. It's gonna take some time, right? So with trading, you're not going to have huge winners every single time. Like so a lot of these guys that are out there saying, oh, I got this thing, it's 90% accurate or 98% accurate, and I made $3 million. Whoa. They're making it sound like I'm not calling them liars, okay? I'm just saying that they're talking about maybe one trade that did amazingly well, right? Well, what about all the other time? What about 99% of the other times, right? So you need to have a system that's going to be just a little bit more than 50% accurate, right? That's the edge. In edge, listen to this, guys. Listen to this. What is an edge exactly? What exactly is an edge? An edge doesn't necessarily mean that it's 98%. Oh, yeah, that's a good edge, man. An edge can just be an edge can be 51%. You know, anything is an edge. Anything that gives you an advantage as a trader, anything that gives you an edge as a trader is an edge, right? That's what an edge is. Anything that gives you an advantage. Okay, doesn't matter how much of an advantage. It could be just a little bit. That's an edge. And you want to make sure that those conditions are met. How do you do that? Well, TrendCloud, right? How do you make sure all your conditions are met? You've got to have a system that shows you price action and all of these little elements that are edges. There's all these little edges, like lining up trend across multiple time frames. That's an edge. Why don't you line up momentum across those multiple time frames as well? That's another edge, right? Support and resistance levels. That's an edge. So with TrendCloud, we've got the 6 major pieces of information. That's our edge. And we make sure that those pieces of information, those elements, are all lined up in the same direction. Then you take your trade, right? When you've got everything lined up, then apply your strategy, right? We're applying this open range breakout strategy to gold right now because we've got a market edge, okay? We've got a break of structure. We have a crossover on the high time frame. The middle time frame trend is also up. Momentum is up on the middle time frame. We're flashing green, back and forth here, but we're still above that 0 line on our momentum filter, right? So pulling back into this demand zone is a retest of the opening range breakout. That is a strategy. Okay, that's a strategy in itself. What if we go from swing low? Let's grab our Fibonacci retracement level and let's go swing low to swing high. What do we have here? Well, look at that. We've got 50% retracement level, and it looks like that's right exactly where we put our buy order, right? If you want to tighten this up, put it right exactly on that line. There we go. So we're putting this right on the 50%. So I just adjusted my my level there a bit, right? And here we've got this second buy order. Maybe we put this on the 618, right? Or the 786, right? This gives us a better risk to reward. Maybe we've seen this pull back and hit the 786 plenty of times, right? So if you wanted to log the data on that, that's what you would do. So this gives us a better risk to reward. We're going to scale into this trade. Maybe it comes down here and just takes the one contract and then takes off. Great. Hey, no problem. We'll take that 2-to-1 entry. Great. Maybe it comes in, hits this, and then takes off. Now we've got 2 contracts. We have the best opportunity to win. That's the situation that you want to put yourself in every single day you sit down at your trade desk. You want to put yourself in a position to win every single day. And the best way to do that is to use a system like TrendCloud. Okay, this is already done, guys. It's already done. This is a trading system that's already making money. And it's an objective way of mapping out price so that you can apply your supply and demand zones more effectively. You can apply your open range breakout strategy more effectively, right? Any strategy that you're using, if you don't have a visual representation of price action on your chart, it's going to be very difficult. So use a system, and I've got it already made for you. Okay, so this is already done. It's working. I've got the data for it. And if you want TrendCloud, just go to my website and you can read about it there. You can watch the proof of concept videos, sign up for the trade plan, and I'll be sure to send you the new trade plan for 2024. All right. We're here. It's a little past 10 o'clock. We're going to do this for 1 hour now from 9 to 10 so that we can really get in some very specific lessons and understand TrendCloud better, because I think that's going to be more effective in the long run for you to become a professional trader. Okay, so that's it for me, guys, for you. And what I'll do is I'll post that in the membership area for you. Okay, Krishnan, good to see you, man. And why your screen is blurry? Oh, the screen is blurry? What do you mean the screen's blurry? Oh no. I joined again, still the same. Huh. I'm not sure. That must be that must be on YouTube. That must be on YouTube. It's clear on my end. Not sure what's going on. That's the first time that's happened. Yeah, I'm going to look into some other ways of streaming. Okay, it might be because I'm streaming right now from the TradingView platform. And fine on your side, Hitch. Okay, all right. Yep, it must be that must be on YouTube or something. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Thanks again. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we'll see how this gold trade works out. Okay. All right, everyone. Good to see everybody. I will see you tomorrow.